Meet Christina, a dreamer who wanted to be a pop star, but her world crashed at a party when everyone saw her biggest humiliation. Then her private videos leaked online. Can she rise from the ashes to shine? Welcome to Tales Revealed. Let's get started. Hi, I'm Christina, and I'm here to share a story that's been a roller coaster of embarrassment, heartbreak, and ultimately, redemption. It's a tale of chasing dreams, facing humiliation, and learning to rise above it all. If you've ever done something mortifying when you thought no one was watching, dancing in your underwear or belting out a song at the top of your lungs, then you'll understand the kind of cringe I've lived through. But what if your crush caught you in the act? That's exactly what happened to me in my first year of college, and it's a moment that changed my life forever. So buckle up. This is going to be a wild ride. I grew up in a small suburban town, the kind where everyone knows everyone, and secrets don't stay secret for long. From a young age, I was obsessed with the idea of becoming a pop star. I'd spend hours watching music videos, mimicking the choreography of my favorite artists, and dreaming of the day I'd be on stage, dazzling a crowd with my voice and style. My bedroom became my sanctuary, a place where I could escape the monotony of school and transform into the glamorous version of myself I longed to be. Every night before bed, I'd dig through my closet for the flashiest outfits I could find. Think sequin tops, feather boas, and glittery masks that made me feel like a mysterious diva. I'd crank up my playlist filled with upbeat pop anthems and put on a full-blown performance, complete with dramatic poses and over-the-top dance moves. There was something so freeing about letting loose after a long day of wearing a stiff, boring school uniform. I started recording these performances when I was about 12, during my middle school years. At first, it was just for fun. I'd set up my little video camera on a tripod, hit record, and lose myself in the music. But over time, I got more serious about it. I'd spend hours editing the videos, adding cheesy effects like sparkles and slow-motion zooms, pretending I was making a real music video. By the end of middle school, I had about 20 videos saved on my laptop, each one a little more polished than the last. They were my dirty little secret, a part of me I kept hidden from the world. I never posted them online. I was too shy, and honestly, I knew they were pretty cringy. Watching myself back, I'd cringe at my awkward dance moves and the way I'd dramatically lip-sync to the lyrics, but I loved making them. They made me feel alive, like I was one step closer to my dream. Middle school was also when I started to notice boys, or rather, when I realized I had no idea how to interact with them. I'd gone to an all-girls elementary and middle school, so my experience with the opposite sex was basically zero. When I finally started at a co-ed high school, I was beyond excited. Boys were everywhere, and they were so different from the girls I'd grown up with, taller, louder, and in my eyes, absolutely gorgeous. But my excitement quickly turned to anxiety. Every time I tried to talk to a boy, my knees would buckle, my palms would sweat, and I'd stumble over my words like a complete fool. I was desperate for a boyfriend, but I had no clue how to make that happen. I'd daydream about finding the perfect guy who'd sweep me off my feet, but in reality, I was too awkward to even hold a conversation. That awkwardness led to one of the most humiliating moments of my life. It happened during my freshman year of high school, at a massive party thrown by a popular guy named Nate. I wasn't exactly invited. Nate was one of those untouchable upperclassmen who everyone knew, and I was just a nobody freshman. But I tagged along with some friends, hoping to make an impression. I had a huge crush on Nate, even though I barely knew him. He was tall, with dark hair, and a charming smile that made my heart race every time I saw him in the hallways. I thought the party would be my chance to show everyone how cool and fun I could be, maybe even catch Nate's eye. I spent hours getting ready, picking out a cute dress, and doing my makeup just right. At the party, I tried my best to be outgoing. I laughed at people's jokes, told stories, and even hit the dance floor in the living room where a crowd had gathered. People started cheering and clapping, encouraging me to do a solo dance. For the first time, I felt like a star. All eyes were on me, and I was soaking it in. I twirled. I spun. I even threw in some of the moves I'd practiced in my bedroom. I was on top of the world. Then Nate approached me. My heart skipped a beat as he leaned in close, his voice low. "I need to tell you something," he whispered, maybe not with so many people around. I was sure this was it, the moment I'd been dreaming of. "I have a crush on you too," I blurted out, my voice echoing through the room. The music seemed to stop, and every head turned to stare at me. Before I could process what was happening, a gorgeous upperclassman girl threw her drink at Nate, screaming, "Are you trying to cheat on me?" She stormed off, tears streaming down her face, and Nate ran after her, shouting, "No, babe, it's a misunderstanding. I was just telling her to fix her dress." Fix my dress? I looked down and my stomach dropped. My dress was tucked into my underwear, revealing the childish bunny print granny panties I'd worn that day. To make matters worse, I must have sat in chocolate cake at some point during the party. There was a huge brown smear across my backside. The crowd erupted in laughter, and I realized they hadn't been cheering for my dancing. They'd been laughing at me the whole time. I didn't even try to defend myself. I ran out of the house, tears streaming down my face, the sound of their laughter echoing in my ears. That night haunted me for the rest of high school. I became the school joke. People called me cake butt in the hallways, and someone even smeared chocolate cake all over my locker. I withdrew completely, avoiding social events and keeping to myself. I felt like a failure. I'd wanted to be a star, but now I was just the girl who'd humiliated herself in front of everyone. The only people I saw regularly were my parents and their work friends, who'd occasionally come over for dinner. One of their bosses had a son named Conrad, and let's just say he wasn't exactly my type. Conrad was rich, but he was also arrogant, unkempt, and completely clueless about personal hygiene. He'd show up in dirty clothes, leave sweat stains on our furniture, and act like he was God's gift to women. One day he cornered me and went on a rant about how lucky I'd be to date him. When I turned him down, he got angry, calling me shallow and saying girls never like nice guys. I snapped back, "Newsflash, Conrad, you're not a nice guy. You're a jerk who happens to be unattractive. Bad combo." He stormed off, but the encounter left me feeling even worse about myself. Was this really my life now? Fighting off entitled rich kids while hiding from my past? By my senior year, I was in a dark place. I spent most of my time alone, binge-watching Netflix and surfing the web. One day, while scrolling through YouTube, I stumbled across a video from My Story Animated about a famous YouTuber who'd started from nothing. It brought back a flood of memories. My childhood dreams, my secret videos, the joy I'd felt performing in my room. On a whim, I dug out my old mask and boa and started recording again. I was 18 now, and my outfit's a lot better than before. I made the videos a little hotter, a little more confident, and they became a form of therapy. I must have made around 100 videos that year, each one helping me feel pretty and alive again. But I kept them on my laptop. I'd have died if anyone saw them. When I started college, I was determined to leave my past behind. I chose a school far from my hometown, got a new laptop, and left my video camera at home. Orientation was a dream. I met amazing people who knew nothing about my high school humiliation, and there were so many cute guys. I felt like I was finally getting a fresh start. But on the first day of class, my heart sank. Sitting in the front row was none other than Nate. I panicked. He could ruin my reputation in seconds. We were paired up for a mini presentation, and I braced myself for the worst. But Nate surprised me. After class, he pulled me aside and said, "I remember you, Christina, but I won't say anything. People were too harsh on you back then, and I never thought it was right." I was relieved, but my old crush on him came rushing back. He was still hot, still rich, and now kind. Then his girlfriend appeared, a cheerleader who eyed me suspiciously before kissing him possessively. "Sorry about her," Nate said after she left. "She gets jealous when I talk to pretty girls." My face turned bright red. I must have looked like a stop sign. He thought I was pretty. I became obsessed with Nate, stalking his social media to learn everything about him. I watched the shows he liked, like Rick and Morty, and joined the fandoms he was into. It actually helped us bond. We started talking more, and I felt like we were getting closer. But one day, while scrolling through his Instagram, I stumbled across a post that made my blood run cold. Someone had uploaded all 100 of my private videos to YouTube, and they were racking up millions of views. The comments were a mix of praise and mockery. Some called me hot. Others laughed at my cringy performances. I was horrified. Who did this? I messaged the account, and they replied, "That's what you get for messing with me." My mind immediately went to Conrad. At 3 a.m., I called him, demanding he take the videos down. He denied it, but suggested a date in exchange for help. Desperate, I agreed. The date was a nightmare. Conrad wore a dirty graphic tee to a fancy restaurant, ate spaghetti with his hands, and wiped sauce on the tablecloth. He threatened the waiter and tried to kiss me with his greasy mouth. I was mortified. Afterward, I begged him to delete the videos, even crying. He admitted he didn't post them but offered to help. He took me to a dance club where his friend, a scrawny hacker with a My Little Pony tattoo, tracked the uploader. It wasn't Conrad, it was Nate's ex-girlfriend from high school, the one I'd embarrassed at the party. She'd bought my old laptop at a sale, found the videos, and posted them for revenge. She even sent a link to Nate hoping to humiliate me. But Nate thought the videos were hot. He just didn't know it was me because of the mask. Using some compromising photos of her as leverage, I got control of the account and had the videos removed. I felt a surge of confidence. I told Nate I was the girl in the videos and confessed my feelings. To my shock, he admitted he'd broken up with his ex after the party incident and had always liked me. We started dating, and he encouraged me to post my videos online to chase my pop star dream. I hesitated, but eventually did, building a small following. Things were great, until I posted a video of us together on Instagram. His current girlfriend, who he hadn't fully broken up with, saw it, and the backlash was brutal. People called me a homewrecker, and I lost most of my followers overnight. Heartbroken, I broke up with Nate, vowing to quit social media for good. I spent the next few weeks in a fog, questioning everything. I'd wanted to be a star, but all I'd gotten was drama and humiliation. I stopped posting, stopped singing, and stopped dreaming. I felt like I'd failed at everything I'd ever wanted. But then, something unexpected happened. A small group of fans reached out to me through email and comments on my old videos. They told me they loved my authenticity, my vulnerability, and the way I'd poured my heart into my performances. One girl wrote, "Your videos made me feel brave enough to dance again, even after being bullied for years. Please don't stop." Another said, "You're not a homewrecker, you're a survivor. Keep going, Christina." Their words touched me deeply, and for the first time in a long time, I felt a spark of hope. I decided to give it one more shot, but this time, I'd do things differently. I started posting again, but instead of focusing on flashy performances, I shared my journey, the embarrassing moments, the bullying, the heartbreak, and the lessons I'd learned along the way. I talked about how I'd struggled with confidence, how I'd let my fear of judgment hold me back, and how I was learning to embrace my flaws. I even opened up about my dream of becoming a pop star, sharing raw, unedited clips of me singing and dancing in my room. My followers loved the realness, and slowly my audience grew. Not because I was perfect, but because I was honest. Nate reached out a few months later asking to meet. I was hesitant, but I agreed. He apologized sincerely, explaining that he'd been immature and hadn't handled his relationships well. He'd broken up with his girlfriend for good and had spent the past few months reflecting on his mistakes. "I never meant to hurt you, Christina," he said, his eyes full of regret. "I've always admired your passion and your courage. I'd love to support you, even if it's just as a friend." I appreciated his honesty, and over time, we rebuilt our friendship. We took things slow, focusing on trust and communication, and eventually, we started dating again. This time, with a stronger foundation. Inspired by my journey, I decided to take my music to the next level. I wrote a song called Unmasked, a quirky pop anthem about shedding your fears and embracing who you are. I recorded it in a small studio with the help of a friend from college, and when I posted it online, it went viral. Not for drama, but for its message. People shared it with captions like, "This song gave me the courage to be myself," and Christina's story is so inspiring. My following exploded, but this time it was different. My fans weren't just there for entertainment, they were there because they connected with my story. A year later, I got a message that made my jaw drop. One of my favorite pop stars, the one I'd idolized as a kid, had seen my video and loved it. She followed me on Instagram and even invited me to open for her at a small concert in my city. I couldn't believe it. I was finally living my dream, not as the perfect pop star I'd once imagined, but as a real, flawed, and resilient artist who'd earned her place. On the night of the concert, I stood on stage, my heart pounding, and looked out at the crowd. Nate was in the front row, cheering me on, and I saw a few of my loyal fans holding signs that said, "We love you, Christina." As I sang Unmasked, I felt a sense of peace I'd never known before. I'd been through humiliation, heartbreak, and betrayal, but I'd come out stronger. I wasn't just a star, I was a survivor, and I was finally writing my own story, on my own terms. If you loved this story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more. And hey, don't miss the video that's right here on your screen. It's one you won't want to skip. See you in the next one.